Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are doing a recap of Love Island Australia Season 3, episodes 5 through 8. And let's see, we started with the end of episode 4 was Taku and Aaron fighting over some comments that Aaron made to some other islanders about things that they'd done, uh, basically with Jess and Taku's date, the little fruit platter that they decided to have. Aaron was salty about it. So Taku just wanted to try to clear the air. Aaron took it a different way. It was absolutely ridiculous. The fighting continued. At the end of the day, Taku and Aaron squashed the beef and moved on from whatever issues they were. I think it was kind of ridiculous though in totality because Aaron really was just making snide comments because he was upset that he was getting basically dumped by Jess, and took it out on Taku. Meanwhile, Taku was just trying to make sure that where he was with Aaron was cool because he was just trying to follow his heart, as we, learned from episode 4. So after that, the episode was kind of slow. Ronnie was trying to get to know all the girls because he realized that he hadn't gotten to know them and he was about to get kicked off. The girls, they were a little bit iffy on him because they felt like he might not be too genuine. They weren't sure about keeping him. Every girl seemed to be really into Mitch. He was going around kissing all the girls. I'm really not understanding the whole Mitch thing. He's not my type. I'm not a fan. He doesn't really seem too genuine, but we'll see. Ari is crying about apparently she's still with Ryan on her mind. She's really upset that she got dumped. And I guess she really just couldn't let it go, especially when she found out Lexi saw them kissing, saw them all hugged up, and still chose Ryan. But again, that was Lexi's job, to go and choose a guy that she felt like she could progress with. I understand Ari still being really into Ryan. I'm not sure why she wasn't having that conversation with him. Apparently, he said that, it was kind of her fault for cutting it off. He would have still gotten to know her, but she's the one that kind of cut off the situation, which I did say in my last review and recap. She really should not have done that just because they were sharing a bed. She should have allowed him to explore things with Lexi, and he might have still come back to her. Then Ryan assures Lexi that he doesn't want any of the other girls. He's only there for her. If another girl picked him at the recoupling, he would be shocked because he's already talked to them and let them all know he doesn't want anybody else. They played a couple of superficial little mini games. I wasn't too into the game, moving around body parts, trying to pick the perfect person for them. I thought it was silly. So ultimately, they did a recoupling this episode, episode 5, and Taku picked Jess, who, according to the host, was actually the female fan favorite with Taku. Rachel picked Chris. Tina picked Mitch. Courtney picked Ronnie. Ari picked Aaron. Lexi got to choose Ryan. And Jordan was dumped. Now, Ari was a little upset before and after picking Aaron. She seemed to be kind of waffling on whether or not she really wanted to choose Ryan instead, but didn't seem to have the conversation because she said she still felt like her feelings were one-sided. And I feel like if she had the conversation with Ryan, she would know for sure if her feelings were one-sided and wouldn't have felt so conflicted. So that was episode 5. Episode 6, we had a new bombshell. Her name was Emily, and Jess tells all the others that she still wants Aaron, apparently. So they go and tell Aaron that Jess still wants him. Jess, instead of telling Taku that she still wants Aaron, or at least she still wants to entertain the possibility of a relationship with Aaron, she tells him, hey, I'm open. If there's new people that come in, I'm going to still get to know them. Taku says, okay, fine, that's understandable. But he still kind of has his antennas up like, that doesn't make any sense because you were all really lovey-dovey with me yesterday and this morning. So what's that about? He said he sells BS. And I don't blame him, because then the next thing we see is Aaron telling Taku that Jess came to him and told him that he still, Jess wants him still. So now Taku is kind of blindsided because in his head he was like, well, she just told me she wanted to be open to new people. She didn't tell me she wanted to be open to this guy. And I went all hard on the recoupling with this beautiful speech and been all into her because I thought we were going to progress and grow something, and she's not been straight with me. So Taku was upset, and basically, who could blame him? Emily sends a text to go on a date with Mitch and Ronnie, and then they go on a date. The date with Mitch seems to go really, really well. The date with Ronnie went okay. She also comes back and she talks to Ryan and Taku, and we find out during the next mini games, and this is something I noticed with Love Island Australia, they have a lot of games, a lot of mini games. Most of their episodes are filled with like a mini game and then a larger game. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe if I watched the first 2 seasons, I would see if that's their MO, because we don't normally see that on the other Love Islands. They're more focused on the relationships. In this, they're a little less focused on the relationships as a individual relationships and more focused on these mini games and building the relationships. I'm not sure if I like it. It's just like a lot of games, and I feel like things keep getting like changed, like people's feelings, people's couplings, people are interested in, and it kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere, whereas maybe that's why we're not understanding that, because we're not seeing the actual relationships. All we're seeing is these mini games, and then it's kind of like information is kind of popping out of these mini games that we didn't know before. Like apparently Jess thinks that Ryan is the cutest guy in the villa, and Taku thought it was Aaron because obviously she wants Aaron. It was just a really weird like game that they played, and we kind of just find out that every boy really just wants Emily. And I don't know if it's because she's shiny and new, and I mean, she's pretty enough, but I feel like most of the girls that are there have more beauty that guys would be more interested in. So I don't know if it's a case of, because it's not her personality. They just literally met her a couple hours ago. I don't know if it's just like the shiny and new, or it's the fact that um she I don't know, they're just drawn to her. I have no idea. They seem to kind of allude that they just trying to make her comfortable. I don't know if that's really the case. um Mitch is in, like, flirting with her heavily. Tina is very upset about it. Um, and who could blame her, because they were kissing in the morning. She thought she was really gonna have like a chance to move forward with him. Then he gets this text. Now Emily's interested in him. He's interested in Emily. And it's kind of like just Tina's getting kind of pushed slowly through during, like, out of the way. In episode 7, we see that the girls, Tina and Rachel, are salty because all the boys are still kind of showing more interest in Emily than them. And while I wasn't understanding why Rachel was salty, I really understand why Tina was, because I feel like she feels like her relationship with Mitch got, like, abruptly interrupted, and then we're kind of seeing through the rest of the episode he's not really telling her what's going on. In fact, there's a point where he kind of lies to her and says, like he's all in on her, and he's not entertaining Emily in any way, when more of it is that he's actually really entertaining Emily, but he's really comfortable and safe with Tina. He's just not sure which way to go. Um, Jess and Taku have a conversation. Jess says she didn't know that she still had feelings or still wanted Aaron when they were coupled. But Taku feels like, if she felt that way in any way, she should have told him, and I agree with him. She should have made it clear that, you know what, I do have some attachment to Aaron still, and so I don't know how you're going to take that, but I want to continue pursuing something with both of you and figure out which connection is the best for me. But Taku feels used, and I can't blame him. And so they basically break up, and Jess and Aaron decide to sleep outside together, um, like that same night, and then they start making out that same night. So I don't think she was ever, and I said this in my mini recap, I did not see the chemistry. I feel like Taku was trying to find the connection, and because Jess was just open and available at the time, she and he were just, trying to grasp at straws. But I don't feel like there was ever a connection between the two of them, and it's unfortunate for Taku. Um, but as we continue through the show, we see that Chris and Rachel have some sort of sexual experience. I'm not sure if they went all the way or if they did a little bit more handsy and petty and whatever, but we see they implicate that they went and did some stuff more than making out. But then it's kind of like they get into this tiff about stuff, and Rachel kind of stops speaking to Chris, and then we find out it's because she feels like he's not, I would say, like putting all his eggs in her basket, as we learned in the next episode. That's a big thing. But he's not really telling her, like, you're the prettiest, or I just want you. And he's like, but I came in here just for you, and I told you that, and I've only been looking at you, and I've only been with you, but you're ignoring me. And she just said she just felt like I guess she just didn't feel special. And sometimes a girl just wants to feel special. Who can blame her? He and her get into a big argument. He basically walks away because he doesn't agree with the way she's assessing the situation, because he feels like he's been putting everything into her. Emily and Mitch, we see they're going really hot and heavy, and basically at this point, he's just not being honest with Tina. Um, and they have another game. Again, we see another game, and the winners of the game get to go to the hideaway. And the winners, there were two winners, but the one chosen by the Islanders is Lexi and Ryan. They go to the hideaway. So the next episode, we see Lexi and Ryan. They had a great experience coming out of the hideaway. Lexi got to, Ryan got to open up. Lexi had gone into the hideaway saying she was not going to have sex with him. And we don't see that they really did anything like that. But, they did make out. But she was really happy with her experience. He seemed really happy with their experience. So they're still really progressing. Probably the strongest couple of the season at this point. Who knew? Chris apparently goes to Rachel and has a conversation and says, listen, I'm all in on you. I don't know what's going on. Let's figure it out because I need you to open up because you're the one that I want. And so Rachel and Chris, they open up to each other and they're decided that they're going to put all their eggs in each other's basket and keep it moving. Mitch and Emily are hanging out by the pool. The girls, especially Tina, are spying on them. Basically, it just doesn't seem like Tina and Mitch are going to go forward. Tina realizes this and goes to Mitch, and he basically admits that. And Tina starts crying. Again, they have a mini game where we basically find out that Emily is like, she's going to get Mitch at this point. And then Lexi says that she doesn't really think Chris and Rachel are that strong, even though Rachel said that if Chris asked her to be his girlfriend, she would say yes. Lexi and Ryan feel like they're the strongest couple. Again, I can't really say I don't disagree with them being the strongest couple. I'm not really sure about Lexi telling Rachel and Chris that, their relationship ain't all that, because who asked you? You could have said that, yes, there's a couple that you don't feel like their relationship as strong, but you didn't have to say it the way that she did. So as we progress, we find out there's going to be a recoupling, and one of the girls might be eliminated, and that Emily gets to pick first. Emily goes ahead and picks first, and at this point, Tina knew that she was probably gonna be at the bottom, but Emily goes and picks Mitch. Aaron and Jess recouple. Chris picks Rachel. Ronnie chooses Ari. Ryan chooses Lexi. And Taku has to choose between Tina or Courtney, and potentially whoever he does not pick gets eliminated. And unfortunately for Taku, he has to choose one. So he does choose Tina, so she actually ends up not being the person in the bottom. So Courtney is basically the bottom person. She's kind of told that she's on her way out. And then the host walks in and brings some news that Australia has been voting. And according to Australia, Courtney deserves to find love, so she gets to stay. She kind of is happy about that. Everybody else seems happy about that. I said in my head, I don't know why y'all are happy, because if she gets to say somebody's leaving. And just as I said that, the host says, so guys, while you guys are recoupled and y'all have already made y'all decisions, Australia has voted. So our business right now is to figure out who is going to be out, because while there's 13 of you, one of you gotta go. And so we got left on a cliffhanger. One of these individuals is going to be kicked off of Love Island Australia next episode, which will be tomorrow. And we don't know who it's going to be. And it could break up a couple for all we know. I'm at this point, I don't live in Australia, so I don't know who Australia was voting for. We do know that they liked Taku and Jess. Um, and so they seem to have a variety of choice in who they like. I think they like more personality. I'm not sure how they're going to take Jess uh basically dumping Taku, but I can't remember if the vote was right after the last recoupling or right before the last recoupling or during the week. So we're gonna see. It really depends on what they saw when they were watching the episode. So that was it for episodes 5 through 8. I will say the show is not bad. It's definitely not Love Island UK or USA. Like I said, I feel like most of the time it's being taken up by games and um, mini games, and then a larger game in every episode. And I can't remember ever seeing. And I've only watched 3 seasons of USA and UK. I can't remember ever seeing so many games every episode. Usually it's like either a mini game, one episode, or a large game, one episode, or they'll do one episode where they'll do like a mini game, like Snog Marry Pie, and then they'll do a bigger game that later on in that episode, or they'll do a recoupling or something. So I'm not sure how I like the games, because some of them are very superficial, like the one where they were moving around body parts. I don't care. The one where they had to choose whoever's a liar, and it was like, well, just because somebody's able to convince you right then during the game with whatever subject they were given to try to convince you of, doesn't mean that they're a liar. So like, is that really moving the individual forward or the relationships forward? No. So it's like, let's not just do games just to do them. I mean, I know they do games behind the scenes, but I'm not sure why we're being shown every single game, because I don't care. But I'm not sure, maybe Australia's audience cares. So that's where we are right now. I'm going to continue probably doing 1 week of episodes at once and not doing this every day. I just don't think it makes sense to do that. Like, there's not that much that happens with the couples every day for us to have a conversation like this every day. So if you want us to chat live, continue to chat live, let me know. I don't mind. But they'll probably be, short. Not so much is happening right now. I'm not even sure. I have to look if Love Island Australia has a Casa Amor, because I think actually it might be the thing that might actually impact the show a little bit more, because right now it's like they're dropping bombshells. The bombshells come in, and then everybody is already kind of like moving around themselves. They're not like really in set couples anyway. They keep changing their minds. And like I said, it's like somebody does something that offends somebody, and then they're just like, oh, I don't want you. And then they go and try to find a connection with somebody else. And so there's like, right now, I think there's like uh at least 2 or 3 friendship couples. We did have Ronnie, who went into a friendship couple with Courtney, and ended up, he really kind of liked her. And then Ari and him decided that they also liked each other. So he was in a little bit of a triangle there for a second, which Ari and him would do make a very cute couple. I will say that. He did decide that that's who he wanted to be with. Courtney was kind of pissed, which is how she ended up in the bottom as well with Tina. But I do feel like the Ronnie Ari situation was a little better than the Ronnie Courtney situation. So I can't really hate on him for that one because he came into it, and I think during one of the games, all the girls voted and said that they didn't like him. They didn't want to sleep in the bed with him. They didn't want anything to do with him. So he goes from that to for what one episode where he's having that until like later he's in a full on triangle with two girls. So like I said, things just keep changing like every couple of days. So it's like none of these couples are set. And really Lexi and Ryan are the strongest couple because they're the ones that I think have been coupled up at this point the longest, and the steadiest. So and nope, yeah, them because Chris and Rachel didn't recouple until the next episode. So Chris and Rachel would be the second one. So we're gonna have to see what happens, because at this point, it's not looking like these couples are set, and I do have to find out. Let me see how long is Love Island Australia, because if they keep changing around couples this much, like they might they might start running out of people because this is they're not getting set on uh anybody. Let's see. Oh, so apparently I believe there was a COVID outbreak. And so the mayor of Australia withdrew local support. So they have to wrap up Love Island Australia this season in 30 days. So they only have 4 weeks, 4 weeks to get this show together. I don't know if that's possible. Like we seen in Love Island USA, where like 6 weeks was not enough time. UK 8 weeks was, I think, is pretty good. So I don't know. I don't know how many relationships is going to be actually truly coming out of this season in 4 weeks, in 1 month. So we will see. I I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical, but all right. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to talk to me about Love Island Australia, if you're not watching or you would like to watch, you can put it in the comment section. And as always, you can follow me on Entertainment in Color at Entertainment in Color on Twitter and Facebook and on Instagram. And we have a lot of other things that we're doing. We're not going to be just doing reality TV. Tonight is the series premiere of the finale, the final season of Insecure. I'll be doing a Insecure recap show tomorrow night. I'm excited for that. And I'll be live tweeting Insecure tonight on Twitter. So come and join me for that. And I'll be doing that every Sunday and hopefully a recap every Monday at 6:30 about. So thank you guys for joining my channel today and joining me for this recap show. I'll continue to be working on more recaps. I have a few ideas I want to do recaps for, but this is Love Island Australia recap show. We'll see how this is going to go. So have a good night, everybody.